everyone, this is Ashee from Crafting with Ashee. Thank you for joining me today for this video. I have this beautiful floral card to share with you today. Now, I'm really happy Stampin' Up brought out this card, this stamp set, and I'll show it to you in a minute. It's called Enduring Beauty, and it's a beautiful big floral image with some lovely sentiments. Now, the special thing about this set is that it has a matching dies, but it also has matching stencils or masks, which makes colouring in your image super easy. And I'll show you that in a second. As we make this card, you can get a beautiful finish just like this without having to be an artist at all. So, let me show you how this all works. So, we're going to stamp initially our outline, and I'm going to stamp mine in some black ink, and I'm going to go for Memento Tuxedo Black, and I'm just inking up my stamp. Now you can use a block to do this, but this is a rather large stamp and I don't have a big enough block up here, so I'm going to use my trusty old stamper artist. I know it's retired, but doesn't mean I'm getting rid of it. It's still got a lot of life in it, so it's going to get used. So let's give it a good push down, and need to do a little bit more inking here. And get a nice crisp image. Push that down. There we go. Lovely. I really like that. So let me close that up, move that out the way. Now while we're stamping, I'm going to do my sentiment quickly. So I'm going to find a scrap piece of paper, and then we can choose a sentiment, and I did Holding You Close, and I think I'm going to do this one, You Mean So Much, this time. So let's find just a little block to do this. I'm just going to use my grid paper to line everything up, and then I'm going to quickly stamp this just here in some mossy meadow ink, which is the green we're going to be using later on. Just give it a good ink up, down, hold. There we go. You Mean So Much. Okay. Close that up. Move all of that out the way. Bring back our lovely flower. Now I'll show you the stencils or the masks. Now each of them have a notch here at the top, and this helps you know which orientation they're all going to be in, and they're all labelled. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 masks, and now it's really easy to line this up. You just go over and see. Got my post-it note tape, and I'm just going to, I think I'll take a second piece as well. I'm just going to hold that down. Now for this one I did it in yellow, so I used Lemon Lolly, Daffodil Delight, and I think a bit of crushed curry, as well as Old Olive and Mossy Meadow. This time I'm going to do a pink version, so I'm going to bring up my pinks. I'm going to have Floody Flamingo, Melon Mambo, and some Petal Pink, if I can see where my Petal Pink is. I've got a few ink pads here with me. Here we go, Petal Pink. I'm going to use Petal Pink first, just to put down just a light layer of colour, and I'm going to use my blending brushes to get some ink on there. I'm just going to use a light hand. I'm just going over you can always come back, put the stencil back if you want to come back to this layer and do something different. and these stencils wash off brilliantly. Okay, so that's our first layer. So now we can move on to our second layer, which is going to be here. And you can line it up again, just see how easy it lines up. Just take your time so you can get it as perfect as possible. And again, put that down with some post-it note tape. And we're going to start off with our green now. So I've got my green blending brush here, and I'm going to use some Old Olive ink. Excuse the squeak. And again, just going to put down a base layer of colour. Okay, remove that. That looks really pretty already, doesn't it? Okay, and then we're going to go for our next stencil, and this is going to start to add some of the highlights and details. So again, just line it up. It's easy to line up. Just follow your lines. I think that will do fine. And now I'm going to be able to go into the darker colour of pink, which is going to be my Flirty Flamingo. This one here, again with my blending brush. And this is when you can start to add a lot of your detail. You can always come back, as I said, if you feel at any point you want to add a bit more, and I think I do. So you're just going to put the stencil back where it was. Okay, so we finished with that stencil. Isn't it looking pretty? Close this up. Going to bring in our last pieces here, which is going to add some leaf detail. So just again line everything up. It should be fine. I'm going to go back to our mossy meadow. I'm going quite heavy here as I wanted there to be a contrast. Okay, there we go, you can see. Isn't that pretty? And then let's put this aside, and I actually want to go back with my Old Olive and add a bit more green in the background, I think, having looked at what I've done on the foreground. And this is the beauty of the stencils, you can do exactly this. So let's go back, just refit this over. I'm going to get some Old Olive and just going to blend some of that out. There we go. Isn't that pretty? And it's darker leaves than last time, but I think it looks good still. close this up and we're going to go for our last stencil. And this time I'm going to go for a nice bright melon mambo. And for this we're just going for the centres of our flowers. So just line it up. And that will do. Gonna add a bit. Just a little bit of colour in the centre, just like that, see? You can't even see it, you know, you being as dramatic as you think it's going to be. But there we go. Move that aside. I'm going to close up my ink pad before anything goes wrong. And then save the post-it note tape for another day. You can reuse that a bazillion times. So I'm going to cut that using this big matching die and I'll be back. Okay, so our pieces here is all cut out. Isn't it look pretty? I love it. So let's bring in our base. Our base is going to be Melon Mambo. Now I took a piece of basic white cardstock and I put it through the Country Blossoms embossing folder, and this is what I've got. And I'm going to stick this down on top of my Melon Mambo. As I say, it's always funny, but you can hear all the dimension that you get from the embossing, and this just gives some added interest in the background so it doesn't look so flat. And I love it. And I have another piece of basic white to put on the inside for the insert. Okay, so let's do that. Lovely. Now I have put some adhesive foam sheet rather, on the back of my piece. When I used adhesive, I had foam sheet because it's such a big piece. And I've got here, I had quite a few pieces of, you know, scraps. I decided to use up my scraps on the back here. I'll just take the backings off everything if they want to come. And now we can just decide where we want this. I think I like that there. Press it down. Get rid of our backings. Now we have our sentiment. Now I just cut this out with my trimmer, and I'm wondering where to put it. Maybe there. I think it needs some edging, don't you think? So let's get our hold on, Melon Mambo Mossy Meadow, and I'm just going to run the edges through my ink pad like this, just to give it a little bit of extra interest, and just help this. I'm just going to help it to stand out from the background. I'm going to use a dimensional. I don't have anything got left on that sheet, so let's start a new pack. We will use our edges. New pack of dimensionals. There we go. I always use my edges up, so don't worry. I love the edges. They're great for long sentiments, for shaker cards, all sorts of things. So there we have that. And now I've got some finishing touches. These are the In Colour 2025 dots. And we can use different colours and see. Now this is meant to be Moody Mauve, but I actually think that looks really nice. So I'm going to use a few of these. I'm going to use some of these big ones, get them used up. Otherwise they just never get used up. As if it wants to come off. And I think I'm going to sort of keep it along here. I've just changed my mind where I want to put it. I'm going to put those there. And this time I'm going to keep it on this diagonal like this, I think. I've just decided. So it doesn't interrupt the flow. I'll put one there. Go for a medium one again so I can get it off. There we go. Okay. So there are the two cards. You've got the pink version and the yellow version. You can tell me which you prefer. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, I'd be grateful if you could give it a thumbs up so YouTube know. And please don't forget to subscribe to future videos. If you want more information about the project, supply list, measurements, etc., it's all on the blog post on my website. And the links to that and all my social media links are in the description box below. So thank you again, and until next time, enjoy being creative. Bye.